Hello, American Patriots. Douglas Ducote here. Special edition of the Douglas Ducote Show. Thank you for joining me tonight. Before I get into what this show is about, which is basically what is happening at the moment in Washington, D.C., and what happened last night in Georgia, let me say that I've spent most of the day with my wife in and out of doctors and the hospital. She is doing better. Thank you for all those that have reached out to us, sent your thoughts and prayers. I'll repeat, she's doing better. She's rounded that curve. So I am doing wonderful as well. Not there yet, but I'm marching forward. So I need you to do several things for me tonight. First, when this show is over with and it gets posted as a regular video, which would be within the hour, I need you to share it. I need you to share it with your friends, your family. I need you to share it with all your social media platforms. It is the only way we will be able to get the message out there. Because if you haven't figured it out yet, President Trump has been kicked off of Facebook. He's been kicked off of Twitter. And freedom of speech is under attack. Let's get right to the point. First, I do not condone violence of any type by anyone unless it's in self-defense or defense of your family. If you are attacked, go for it, whatever it takes to save yourself or your family. I'll repeat that. I do not condone violence from any side. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, I don't give a damn who you are. Now, that out of the way, let's discuss the absolute hypocrisy of the media, the Democrats, and the liberals. Compared to what we have watched unfold in front of our own eyes with Antifa and Black Lives Matter over the past several years now, and even going on right now as I speak, makes what happened today at the Capitol look like a walk in the fucking park. All right? Antifa has burnt to the ground police stations, federal courthouses, mom and pop businesses, post office. They've attacked women and children and innocent people. They've attacked people giving prayer rallies with physical violence, pepper spray, baseball bats, you name it. Antifa and BLM are physically responsible for the attacks on many police officers, first responders, and even in the death of many of them. Yet, the left and the liberals and CNN and MSNBC and ABC and CBS, what do they call Antifa and BLM? Peaceful protesters. When the violence took place for the whole world to see, peaceful protesters, what they have done and are still doing in Seattle, Washington, in Portland, Oregon, in San Francisco, in Oakland, in Atlanta, hell, just a few months ago in Washington, D.C. Antifa was destroying shit. They set a church on fire. And what did the left call them? Peaceful protesters. The left is all for silencing the right. They believe that only the Constitution applies to them. Oh, and they want to take away the Second Amendment of the Constitution, not only from themselves because they're pansies, but also from you and me. Show me a single Democrat, any of them, that are on record condemning and calling Antifa out and Black Lives Matter out for the violence they have perpetrated on America. You can't do it. Why? Because they don't see it that way. In their own ideology, their warped sense of reality, they look at Antifa and BLM as American patriots. To them, they are the real heroes. And you look no further than CNN and MSNBC to see how disgusting and horrible the left has become. Look at social media in general. Let's take Twitter, for instance. Twitter has banned President Trump numerous times. Twitter banned me for life. Why? For just speaking the truth. What is that? What do you call that? Besides destroying freedom of speech. They go after anyone from the right that speaks up. Facebook does the exact same thing. I have been suspended, put in Facebook jail. In fact, just recently, Facebook stripped me of everything but my main profile picture. 10 years on Facebook. They took away all my photos, all my videos, all my posts, my entire friends list. Everything was wiped away, which put me on other platforms like Wimkin and MeWe and Parler. YouTube is no different. YouTube has removed many, many conservative and Republicans that speak out. But at the same time, YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, what do they allow to happen on their platforms? If it is an obvious attack against Republicans or conservatives, they're all for it, and they will not remove them. I don't give a damn how many times you report them, they won't remove them. So what do I call that? I call that collusion against the American people. That's what it is. Anyone that says I'm an American patriot today is considered a domestic terrorist by these warped, dumb, ideology, crazy, batshit crazy people. We do not know who is responsible for what took place in Washington, D.C. tonight. We don't know if it was Antifa members that infiltrated into this crowd of American patriots. We don't know. But I can tell you what CNN and MSNBC and even Fox News is saying right now tonight. And that is that it's American patriots that are disgusting individuals. It's American patriots that are domestic terrorists. It's American patriots, Trump supporters, that are horrible people. And even some of them are calling for us to be taken out. You have seen time and time again how Nancy Pelosi and AOC and Rashid Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and Chuck Schumer and all those fucking corrupt Democrats have turned a blind eye to all the violence, billions of dollars of violence and lives lost and people injured because of Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Just turn the other way and say nothing about them. Refuse to call them out. Even during the presidential debates, they would not call out that violence. But something happens tonight in D.C., and it just immediately, hands down, oh, it's the Trump supporters. We're the evil people. You know, maybe it will turn out to be legit Trump supporters that are responsible for what happened tonight. Maybe it will be. But I tell you what, it's like backing a dog into a corner and continuing to hit it with something, abuse it. And then eventually that dog says, fuck it, and bites your ass. And that's what has happened over the past, well, let's see, 8 years of the Obama administration and 4 years of the Trump administration. They went after this president before he took office and continued every single minute of the day. Social media and the regular news media. And they've done the same thing about you when they say nothing about Antifa, nothing about the violence of Antifa or Black Lives Matter. What is happening to our country is an absolute shameful disgrace. It is no longer, look, it's right over wrong. It's Republicans and conservatives against Democrats and liberals. Are you pissed off? Yes. I understand your anger. I have it too. And I'm still trying my damnness to push forward and bring you the facts every week. I try my best to share with you what is really taking place. Where do I get my news? Well, those of you that follow me on a regular basis, you already know what I'm going to say. I religiously record Fox, CNN, and MSNBC. And when there's a story that I want to talk about, I watch how they each talked about that story and look into it myself and come to the conclusion on who's full of shit. And sometimes I'm calling out Republicans. For those of you that follow me for a while, you know I've called out Republicans, repeatedly called out Republicans. But if I say anything about Democrats or liberals, well, that makes me a racist. That makes me a bigot. That makes me un-American. It makes me a communist. And just the list goes on and on and on. And they're doing that to all of us. A woman, and that's about all we know at the moment, a woman that was there, that was part of this peaceful rally in the beginning, was shot and has died tonight. Nobody even knows who shot her. Witnesses claim DC police shot her, or someone on the other side of the window inside the Capitol before they gained access shot her. We will find out in the coming days. Did she have a gun? Did she have a weapon? I don't know. Was it a lawful shoot? I have no clue. And neither do you or anyone else. We do not know the circumstances behind her death. But the fact that she's dead tells you all you need to know. Because not only do the Democrats and the liberals and CNN and MSNBC give Antifa and BLM a pass, so do the Democrat mayors in the cities where the damage has been caused and done. When they defund their law enforcement and they make them stand down. Think about this for a moment. In Seattle, in Portland, they've taken away law enforcement's ability to defend themselves with non-lethal force. No more pepper spray. No more padons. No more flashbangs. Nope. Nothing. Just take it. But yet, when this happens on the Capitol, oh my God, we told you, Trump supporters are evil. Don Lemon of CNN last night called you and me and anyone that supports this president disgusting human beings that need to be eradicated. We watched, especially in the past 4 years, the news media lie. The Democrats lie, pushing false narratives. Everything from hands up, don't shoot, what happened in Ferguson, Missouri, we must kneel for the national anthem, like Kaepernick did and all his NFL buddies. As someone that served honorably in the military and in law enforcement, what the Democrats and the media have done, that's the real collusion. When you watch what took place over the past 4 years, and all the people exposed with text messages and phone calls and testifying in front of Congress, the crimes they committed, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, James Comey, Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, all those people that you know committed crimes, nothing happened to them. But yet, Republicans and conservatives were crucified in that Mueller investigation for things that had nothing to do with Russia collusion because the FBI couldn't find nothing else. So they kept digging and digging until they could find something, a lie or a tax cheat, something. Our Department of Justice doesn't exist anymore. There is no fucking justice in the Department of Justice. Take that damn word off of it, the building. The leadership at the FBI, you're a disgrace to the human race. That's right, Ware. Fuck you. What you have allowed to happen under your watch is no different than James Comey. No different than Loretta Lynch. No different than William Barr. And then we watch Mike Pence cave. the man that had some power, cave. Because of what took place today at the Capitol, the Republican senators that we have begged to stand up and protest the Electoral College results in certain states to where we would be able to see the actual evidence that they claimed they had will never be seen. They're not going to do it. It's over. Stick a fork in it. It's done. The Democrats have won 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They've won both houses, the Senate and the House. And America, as you know it, will change. It will become a socialist country. I read between the lines. Go back and watch some of my other videos. I've given you the answer. I've told you how this should have been conducted. And maybe, hopefully, it's going to turn out that it was Antifa that is responsible behind what took place. I don't know. But what I do know is it's done. Republicans in Congress are now siding with the Democrats in Congress, and they will swear in Joe Biden on January 20th. I guarantee you they will. And there is nothing that can be done shy of an all-out civil war and many a people dying. Many of you have asked, if a civil war broke out, Doug, whose side would the military be on? That's a legit question. Whose side will the military be on? Well, here, let me share that with you because I've got the answer. I have the damn answer. Statement by Jonathan Hoffman, Chief Pentagon spokesman, on the D.C. Guard mobilization. Now, I want you to listen to this very carefully. The D.C. Guard has been mobilized to provide support to federal law enforcement in the District of Columbia. Acting Secretary Miller has been in contact with congressional leadership, and Secretary McCarthy has been working with the D.C. government. The law enforcement response will be led by the Department of Justice. And then, right after that wonderful fucking announcement, came the next one. Chairman Molly and I spoke separately. Now, this is the acting secretary, Miller, okay? Listen to who he spoke with. Chairman Molly and I spoke separately with Vice President Pence. Oh, we start off with a Republican, supposedly. Who else was in this meeting? Speaker Pelosi, Leader McConnell, Senator Schumer, and Representative Hoyer about the situation at the U.S. Capitol. We have fully activated the D.C. National Guard to assist federal and local law enforcement as they work to peacefully address the situation. We are prepared to provide additional support as necessary and appropriate as requested by local authorities. And here's the big one. Are you ready for this? Our people are sworn to defend the Constitution and our Democrat form of government, and they will act accordingly. There you go. Where was the National Guard when what happened in Atlanta with the riots? In Seattle with the riots? In Portland with the riots? Where was the National Guard? They were told to stand down. When the president offered support, federal support to go in and take care of these problems, It was rejected. The Democrats never spoke up about it, other than to say that you never should use troops on peaceful protesters. Peaceful protesters, my ass. Antifa and Black Lives Matter are domestic terrorists. Period. End of discussion. That's what they are. We've watched it happen time and time again on our television sets, live. And nobody did shit to them. I've called for American patriots to show up wherever Antifa shows up. And when they start this, since there's no law and order and the cops have to stand down, beat the fuck out of them. That's what I've called for. That's what I've said needs to happen. And I will continue to say that. If the cops are told to stand down and let these lawless pieces of crap destroy our federal courthouses, our post office, our police stations, torch police cars, then damn it, you have the right, the privilege. You have an obligation as an American to stand up to them. And nobody does. They just get emboldened. And we sit back and we build up steam and we get pissed off. We get angry. And it keeps building and building and building. So if what happened tonight in D.C. turns out that it wasn't Antifa instigating that or being a part of that, it was Trump supporters, well then guess what? You blame them? I don't condone it, but do you see why it happened? If that turns out to be the case, take you back to the same thoughts I had a while ago. You back a dog into a corner. I don't give a shit if it's a little bitty chihuahua or a freaking full-grown wolf. And you beat it, and you beat it, and you beat it, and you treat it like shit. Eventually, it's going to take you out or die trying. And that's what the Democrats and liberals and CNN and MSNBC and ABC and CBS and even Fox have done. There's so many things I want to say right now. But I'm borderlining going to jail if I do. But if I was a Democrat or a liberal, I could sit here and say whatever I want about Republicans and Trump supporters. And YouTube won't do shit about it. Neither will law enforcement. I personally have led the FBI, done the homework for the FBI and local law enforcement. Exactly, step by step, the criminal activity of members on the left. And they've done nothing. They still are allowed to continue to spew their hatred towards Trump supporters and the right. And it's absolutely wrong. There's nothing American about it. I don't know if that's God calling or if it's thunder, but it sure is loud. It's a storm, which means I'm probably going to lose this feed. So, moving on and finishing this rant, or whatever the hell you'd like to call it, let me just back up a second and tell you, if you're just tuning in, how I started this. All of a sudden, Trump supporters are the domestic terrorists, according to the news media and the Democrats and the liberals. While for the past 12 years, they have given Antifa and BLM a complete and open pass to do whatever the fuck they want, and said they were peaceful protesters. As you watched on your television set them burn down buildings and loot the shit out of stuff and hurt innocent people and kill police officers, injure them. There's hundreds of cops that will never work again because of their physical injuries for what happened to them in places like Atlanta, Chicago, Portland, Seattle, you name it. I wish you all well. I do not want violence. I've never called for violence like those on the left have. Maxine Waters, a sitting member of Congress, called for violence against Trump supporters and Trump and anyone in his administration. And what was her consequences for doing so? Nothing. Now imagine, pick any Republican member of Congress or the Senate to have come out during the Obama era and said the same thing. They would still be in prison as I speak. Where's the rest of the Antifa and BLM people? Where's it at? Yeah, you're pissed. I get it. So am I. Regardless of who is responsible for what happened on the Capitol steps into the Capitol building, regardless of who is responsible for that, it's done. It's over with. And sadly, and I'm going to say this with, I'm going to predict what's about to happen next. You ready for this? They're going to physically remove this president and charge him with some type of crime. You watch it happen. Watch, listen to what I'm telling you. They are out of check. They've gone. They're off the fucking deep end. They now control everything. Not just 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in the House and the Senate. They control the media. They control social media. I will continue to do what I do, which is expose and bring out those that are treasonous towards our country. Why, I don't know, because nothing gets done. Nothing will be done to them. But it's either that or go on a permanent fishing trip because I'm retired. I hope that somebody just said Ashley Babbitt, a veteran, was killed today. That's who supposedly was the person. I don't know. But thank you for that information. I will look into it further. To all my brothers and sisters that are in DC right now, I wish you safety. I hope that no more harm comes to anyone. I don't have any more answers than you do. I do have thoughts. I do have things that I personally, in my heart, believe need to happen. But my freedom of speech will be removed. And I will be arrested for saying what should be said. And I've got a family. I've got a special needs son. Got a wife. Got people that count on me and need me. So I walk a very thin line. Please share this video when it goes up here shortly as a regular video. I wish I had better news. I wish I could tell you that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But I believe for the Republican Party, that light is going to be gone for a long, long time because so many Americans are pissed off at the Republican Party just as much as they are at the Democrat Party for not speaking up and for not doing shit to protect our rights or stepping up and condemning Antifa and BLM and the mayors of these Democrat cities where all the shit goes down. Please go to DouglasDucote.com if you haven't already done so. Sign up there. It's the only place you'll be able to watch my videos very, very soon. I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed night. Please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our president, and our country. May God bless the United States of America. Keep the faith, keep praying, and take action to defend yourself and your family as needed. And hopefully, with prayer, with faith, we will get through these dark times. And if you know American history, yeah, this is our dark time, but it sure as hell is not the darkest time in American history. And we survived that. We will survive this. God bless everyone. I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you and good night.